Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? This is Robert with Burns Travels. What are you doing at 6:40 in the morning? I'm doing brakes on my Jeep Wrangler JK. All right, I'm back. So let me get the tools I need to lift the Jeep and to get the front brakes put on and everything. And I'll see you in a minute. All right, the tire's off. Let me show you what we're looking at. All right, as you can see, the brakes are fine. I already touched that line. There's not even a groove in it and everything. So it's probably just right on the cusp of getting to a point where I need to get it done. Let's look how close the pads are. The pads don't look worn that much, so that could have been sand or something like that, but I'm still going to change them, front and rear. So let's get the tools and start taking this thing apart. It's really not that hard. It's just 2 bolts right here. Matter of fact, let me show you. Basically, this top bolt, bottom bolt, it will lift out. I'll set it up here, take my C-clamp, and I'll show you what I'll do with that. So let's get this off right now. All right, I got the 2 nuts out right here. And I took my time, and all I did was just put the wrench on there and use this as a leverage and just loosened it up. The reason I did that was it's just on that jack stand that, because my big one that I have, well, not the big one, but the one I was borrowing won't lift the Jeep. It's not strong enough. So I had to use the one that you see underneath. And everything's, emergency brakes are on. I have wheel chocks on both sides of the tires. Just taking my time to make sure I do this because I don't want this to fall off or jerk too much and it come off that jack that's underneath there. So now I'm just going to lift the brakes out and put it on top of the disc. Now I want to show you something. If some of you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but let me just show you this real quick. All right, I've already confirmed the brakes for the front. And if you see, there's a size difference. The big ones are for the front. The small ones are for the rear. Some people don't know that. I've also seen people take on drum brakes, put 2 shorts on one side and 2 longs on the other side, and that's just wrong. And what I mean by short is short disc on the drum, and there's a long and there's a short, and some people have put 2 shorts on one side, 2 longs on one side, and it just doesn't fit. It's a big old nightmare. Just make sure when you take them off, you pay attention, okay? Okay, you see I have the old brake shoe in there. There's the caliper piston. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a C-clamp and put it over here. Then I'm just gonna turn it slow and bring that plunger all the way back in, that cylinder, and make it flush. And then I'll put my clips, these right here, my clips in each one of these, put the brake pad on each side. So we're gonna do that right now, and I'm not gonna show the video on me closing the C-clamp on. It's not hard. You just put it on the other side and tighten it up really slow. And when it's done, I'll put the brakes on and start putting the piece on. I have my tripod broke, so I can't even put the other camera in here to watch it. So just see you in a second. Well, I already got the passenger side front already done, and it's taken me maybe 20 minutes. And they're on. Let me show you. See, there's the new brake pads right there on both sides. One thing I want you to know, I am not a professional mechanic. The reason I'm using a C-clamp, I know they make a brake tool that goes in there and spreads them apart and all that kind of stuff, that's all it's used for. I live in a Class A RV full time. I don't live in a house anymore. I live in an RV. So the tools I have to be multi-purpose. And that's what that C-clamp is. I just put the old brake pad on it and just slowly bring it in, like I said. brings it flush, I put it back on. When the car gets, Jeep gets started and run, hydraulic systems all work, pressurizes again, no big deal. I've done this twice on this Jeep already and I haven't had no issues. I've done it on my Mustang twice, 2 or 3 times, had no issues. My truck before that, my other truck before that, my Avalanche before that, my Mustang when I was a kid, I've always done it with a C-clamp because that's what was showed to me. However, my daughter had a Honda and we had to do her brakes and you had to buy a special tool because it just didn't, the plunger for the brakes just didn't come out like normal. It actually turned. So to bring it back, you had to have a special tool at one of these holes, and so you could turn it backwards so you can bring it back out. So it really depends on the vehicle. My Jeep, I can use a C-clamp, it's fine. It ain't gonna do no damage to it. And it's a lot quicker instead of that little bitty tool I only do once every 4 years or whenever I gotta change brakes. When I can use a C-clamp for this, hold things down when I'm doing other projects, etc. So living in an RV, you have to have your tools that do more than one thing. So I just didn't see the point of ever buying that. C-clamps worked my whole life, so that's what I've been using. So now I got to get this big old tire on there again, and they're not light. Let me show you. A big old tire. They're pretty heavy. But what I did, it's jacked up so it's just barely off the ground, the tire. So I'll be able to put it on there, put a nut in there, so on and so forth, tighten it down, lower the jack, tighten it all up. So passenger side is done. So now I'm gonna do all that, do the same thing on the other side. Oh, one more thing before I get started. I want to show you my makeshift tripod for my other camera. There it is, the makeshift tripod for the other camera. Since mine broke and I got to do the brakes, I'm not going to go into town and get one. I'm too far away just to get a tripod. So I saw that and said, let's see if that works. And apparently it did. So now let's go ahead and take all that apart right there and do the same thing to that as we did to the other side. All right, here's a little thing some people don't know. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So if I was going this way, like this, and trying to go up, I'm tightening it because that's the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, because it's backwards. So on that, all I'm going to do is just like this, like I did on the other side. I'm just going to take my time, loosen it right up. See, that part's already loose. Then I'll go down here and I'll do the same thing. And just take my time. One, I'm sitting on just the drive shaft itself, but on this one there's a little flat piece right here, so it helps out a little bit better. So we'll take this out, put that out of the way. If I can do this by my fingers, I'll do it. If not, I'll put the wrench on there. What's happening here, which is good to show you, is watch this right here if you can. Put this back on there. See, it's turning. Let's see if I can do it with my hand. If not, I'll get a wrench. Now, gotta go to get a wrench for that. Be right back. All right, the socket right here is a 1/2 inch, and this one's a 15 millimeter, which will fit on this nut right here. It should anyways, because I just tried it on another one. There it is. And we just have to get it out of that bolt, because what it does, there's a pin in here, keeps this thing from sliding off and falling off. So When this tightens up, it tightens up with this. See, now that's not turning. Doesn't look like it anyways, but still. Yeah, it's not. See, it came out. There it is. So with that, just lift it up, wiggle it out, and just put it up here. Okay? One thing you want to look for, there's not a pin on the outside. There's a pin right there that goes on the inside. So I usually put them down on the ground on the same side as how they come off. Now I'm going to show you that C-clamp and everything. Here's what it is, pretty simple. It's not damaging none of my lines. It's actually on the casing of this. This brake pad is the old one. We're going to squeeze it in slowly. And then bring these plungers all the way in. And then we'll go ahead and get the brakes put in and do the rest of it. I just do a little bit. Let the pressure push the hydraulic fluid back into it. I'm not creating air. I'm just doing it slow. Letting the pressure equalize. Like I say, I've done this in the last 6 or 7 cars I've had. Never an issue. Pretty simple. There I am, the plunger's all the way pushed in. So now let's take this off. See how easy that was? See that plunger right there, this piece right here, was out almost a ½ inch, maybe a little bit less. And all it is, a couple little turns, maybe a ¼ inch, I don't know. Just some turns and brought it into it was flat. Then I'll put the brake pads on and this will slide right over them. The one with the pin that goes in the back. All right. Can't remember what I said about righty-tighty. We're fixing that, so now we're going to be able to tighten it up. Let's go down here and get this bottom one tightened up. Now we just gotta put the tire back on. All right, I'm gonna sit down to put this tire on. I'm gonna line it up so as much as I can underneath it. And the reason I'm gonna sit down, this is gonna sound crazy, but I can use my foot also. Let's get this thing a little closer. And then I gotta lift it. I can use my forearms on my legs to help, like leverage, just to lift this thing. So basically I'm gonna be curling this tire. There, I just curled it up there. Then I'll get all my nuts. And this is what I was telling you. Do them hand tight on this thing. Don't use an impact gun for it, because, and I might have to raise this tire up a little bit more, it looks like. Yeah, get that going at least. You do a crank on that thing and just pop it up one more time. Okay, it's off the ground now. Yeah, doing a little bit better. And since I'm an old man compared to some of you guys, I'm just going to sit here, get that going. All by hand. And then, no, it's this one. No, it's too much. This one right here. And then we're just gonna put it on and tight. And we're just going to go to the next one, across from each other. Same thing there. It looks funny to me, but it's fine. And we're just gonna do it a little snug down like that. See that one still. See what I'm doing? Then when I bring it down, I'll make it tight. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to release pressure a little bit so the tire's on the ground, and then I'll tighten it up real good. See, there it is. Tire's on the ground. Now we'll just check them one more time. Front brakes and, well, actually disc brakes aren't that hard. It's drum brakes that are a real pain because you got springs and all sorts of stuff. I don't like those. But my rear is disc also. So I'm not going to show you that because it's the same stuff that you got to do at the front, you got to do in the rear, that I'm going to do it. But putting them on is easy. I can do, if I wasn't filming this, I can do both sides on the front just like I did it, probably in about 40 minutes, just taking my time. So it's taking longer because, you know, I'm filming this. All I can say is, if you're able to get both tires off the ground and you've never done it before, this includes drum. You take both tires off, you keep one together, you do your other one. If you have any problems, you can refer to the other side. Same thing with drums. This is how I learned drums. I would take the drum that goes over the brakes off, look at the brake pads, which side's the small one, which side's the bigger one. I'd write it down. Or I'd take it off and put them on front, rear, and that's how I know they went. Then the springs, it's the opposite on the other side, but it's the same. So you can use that as a picture just in case you can't figure out how to put them on here. You take them all out and all the springs and guts fall out. Don't panic. Your other one's still together. You can copy it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Go on YouTube nowadays. Plenty of videos showing that stuff. But I'm just gonna button this up, finish this tire, and I'll see you in a second. All right, tire's on there snug. All I gotta do is take the jack that I have, lower it down, and it's fine. Then I'm gonna do the rear brakes. The rear brakes are disc brakes too, just like the front. So I'm not gonna film it, it's the same thing. You know, I could do another video let's do rear brakes. They're the same, okay? So I'm not gonna do that. The only difference that it's going to be is I'm gonna take the wheel chucks from the rear, put them up front. That's the only difference I'm doing. Other than that, the same process I did. One side, do it, get it done, put the tire back on, move to the other side, do it, get it done, put it back on. The other thing is, I'm probably gonna get a lot of critics. I don't care. I've been doing it this way since I was 16, and it works. Why change something that's working? And again, I live in a Class A. My tools need to be multi-purpose. One tool that just expands the brake, pushes the brake caliper back into where it should be is to me a waste of money when I have something that does the same thing, and it works. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, cool, ask them to me. You can do a thumbs up, you can do a thumbs down. Either way, it's okay. You're not gonna hurt my feelings either way. So, again, see you at the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey, this is an update on the rear brakes. It took me 30 minutes to do both sides. That's taking the tires off, doing the brakes, doing what I gotta do, and putting them back on. But without doing it all under camera. 30 minutes, so if you were doing front and rear, it's probably gonna take you about an hour, just so you know. All right, again, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.